Power of Now, and I remembered it's a audio book I have, not a Kindle book I have. Anyway, so I have uh, been a member. I've been part of the study circle in Auroville, and I remember a few things which I actually experienced there as part of the reading session. Uh, but I have not been reading the book lately. It's been almost 8 9 months since I last held that book. Um, I am like trying to practice and experience this being in the now, and only recently I have been having much success where I'm much more conscious of it. Uh, I have kind of put some of my own reminder systems which allows me to actually be in the now, and it is something I want to get better and better at. So
Okay.
therefore, I took this opportunity to come and participate. It. I don't think I have mastered it at all, but I'm a learner, so I'm trying to set more and more reminders and be more and more conscious to be in the moment. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ajay. Thank you for sharing. Okay, next. Yes. Yes, Ilan.
Hello guys.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi there, Bashish. Myself, Philantherian. I'm from Pondicherry. Uh, I came to know about this reading circle through WhatsApp group. I thought it would be more interesting to learn about this book, so I have joined this session. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Welcome all guys.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Hi, I'm Aisha, and I have read some of Power of Now, and I'm in the other in-person reading circle for A New Earth, which is another book by Eckhart Tolle. And I'm just beginning to, I mean, when I read The Power of Now many years ago, I couldn't really understand it. But now that I'm in the book reading circle, it's much easier for me to uh, just become more interested in and understand it in a deeper level and ask questions. And so it's really exciting that people are coming together to discuss these ideas by Eckhart Tolle. And I feel really inspired, and I'm in the process of, I'm still in that very inspired phase. I hope it lasts and I keep learning. And yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Aisha, for sharing. Welcome. Yes. Pratyush, are you next?
Hi.
Varsha, yes, go ahead, Varsha.
Yeah, hi everyone. Myself Varsha. I have been following Eckhart since I guess 5 6 years. I read like Power of Now long ago. But yeah, like as Aisha said, it didn't uh, I completely didn't understand it. I guess like now it's time that I get back to it again. And this is my first session, so happy to be here.
Wow. Okay, Varsha. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Pratyush. So I got connected with Eckhart Tolle in 2020, and that was the period when I was going through a lot of crisis in my life. And uh, by reading this book, suddenly a new dimension opened for me. That was the spiritual dimension. And since then, I have read a lot of books of Eckhart Tolle multiple times, and I don't miss any opportunity for listening any of his audio books because it is a kind of meditation for me because it helps in keeping my mind very still whenever I listen to him. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratyush. Thanks for sharing. Welcome. Okay, so this is it. I am Debashish. I already have given my introduction. I am also deeply inspired and been impacted by Eckhart's teachings. Many years back, I was also dealing with my life problems, and then I read The Power of Now and all his other books. Eckhart came in my life and it completely changed my life. So I'm deeply thankful and have a lot of love and gratitude towards Eckhart. Still, whenever I listen to him, something changes in me. So his his teachings are so current and so timeless that can never get old. So that's why I felt a lot of compelled. I felt a lot compelled to read The Power of Now and all these other books and share with people. All of you, I think, would know how do we read the book, but I will still say it again. Everybody who would like to read the book may raise his hand or may just jump in and start reading the book. I will ask, and then you can start reading the passages. And once I say thank you, you stop reading. And then if someone else wants to read, that person can continue to read. And this is how we go on reading the book. During the reading session, we don't discuss anything. If any question pops in your mind, or if you have any doubt or something triggers in you, just I would request to hold that thought for some time. Maybe you will get the answer while reading. And if not, then we can discuss afterwards. After the reading and before the discussion, we would also take a pause of silence, a meditative silence. In that time, for a minute or so, we would silently contemplate and let the words vibrate in our mind, whatever we have read, and stay with those words for some time. And after that, we start the discussion. Okay. I'll not explain too much about this book and what we have read so far. We are right now starting chapter 3. Already we have read 2 chapters. The first chapter was called You Are Not Your Mind, where Eckhart spoke about thoughts and touched upon emotions, and said that these are the 2 obstacles and roadblocks towards peace, and how the ego is getting created in the mind, and how it fuels the emotions, and then emotions fuels the thoughts, and it creates kind of a trap for the consciousness. And the whole goal of spirituality is to free the consciousness from the trap of and from the dream of thoughts, because we get trapped in thinking, and that is what creates a lot of pain and suffering for us. So what essentially is being said is that the problems that we experience in our life, that we say as problems, is actually not outside. It's getting manufactured inside in our head. Outside, what we experience is just a circumstance or a life situation, you can say. It could be a difficult situation, it could be an easy situation. You can label it like that, but it is not a problem. The problem spiritually, the spiritual definition of a problem is inner suffering and inner pain that we undergo and we experience in our mind, and as emotions. So that is what Eckhart says as a problem, and that is completely mind manufactured because of a phenomena called as the ego and how it traps the consciousness. So we read the brief on all that in chapter 1. In chapter 2, Eckhart gave a solution how we can come out of it. The name of the chapter is Consciousness, the Way Out of Pain. So consciousness is the solution, which is our true identity. All this while we experience pain and suffering is because of unconscious identification with the mind. We live in the mind, in our thoughts, and we believe that we are the thoughts and we are the emotions. That is an identification of sorts, and which is an unconscious pattern in us. We don't want to get identified. It happens automatically in the mind, and it creates the ego, an image of the self, So this is a completely unconscious, involuntary, compulsive pattern in the mind. Nobody does it consciously. It happens on its own. The solution to it is to get conscious of it, that this is something that is happening in my body and mind, and this is not me. This is consciousness. Once you get conscious of these patterns in your body and the mind, and then step away from it consciously, that is what is the solution, Eckhart is saying. And in chapter 2, we touched briefly on that. I'm just going to share my screen now so that we can continue reading. I hope everybody is able to see my screen. So last time we read we finished chapter 2. I would like to briefly read a few more things from chapter 2. Then we can march towards chapter 3. So I hope everybody is able to see the screen and hear me properly. The ego
Yes,
search for
yes.
The ego search for wholeness. Another aspect of the emotional pain that is an intrinsic part of the egoic mind is a deep-seated sense of lack or incompleteness, of not being whole. In some people, this is conscious. In some people, this is conscious, in others, unconscious. If it is conscious, it manifests as the unsettling and constant feeling of not being worthy or good enough. If it is unconscious, it will only be felt indirectly as an intense craving, wanting, and needing. In either case, people will often enter into a compulsive pursuit of ego gratification and things to identify with in order to fill this hole they feel within. So they strive after possessions, money, success, power, recognition, or a special relationship, basically so that they can feel better about themselves, feel more complete. But even when they attain all these things, they soon find that the hole is still there, that it is bottomless. Then they are really in trouble because they cannot delude themselves anymore. Well, they can and do, but it gets more difficult. As long as the egoic mind is running your life, you cannot truly be at ease. You cannot be at peace or fulfilled except for brief intervals when you obtained what you wanted, when a craving has just been fulfilled. Since the ego is a derived sense of self, it needs to identify with external things. It needs to be both defended and fed constantly. The most common ego identifications have to do with possessions, the work you do, social status and recognition, knowledge and education, physical appearance, special abilities, relationships, personal and family history, belief systems, and often also political, nationalistic, racial, religious, and other collective identifications. None of these is you. Do you find this frightening? Or is it a relief to know this? All of these things you will have to relinquish sooner or later. Perhaps you find it as yet hard to believe, as I am certainly not asking you to believe that your identity cannot be found in any of those things. You will know the truth of it for yourself. You will know it at the latest when you feel death approaching. Death is a stripping away of all that is not you. The secret of life is to die before you die and find that there is no death. So now I will come back to this last time later when we discuss, okay? So just remind me. The secret of life is to die before you die and find that there is no death. You will understand what this means. Okay, let's continue reading chapter 3. Who would like to start? The chapter name is Moving Deeply into the Now. Now we are delving into the solution, the technique of getting rid of the suffering.
I can start if you wish.
Nobody wants to read?
I can read.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chapter 3, Moving Deeply into the Now. Don't seek yourself in the mind. I feel that there is still a great deal I need to learn about the workings of my mind before I can get anywhere near full consciousness or spiritual enlightenment.
Just hold on. One more thing. The text in italics that you see is a question asked by the questioner, by the audience, and then Eckhart replies, okay? So this is the format of the book. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you don't. The problems of the mind cannot be solved on the level of the mind. Once you have understood the basic dysfunction, there isn't really much else that you need to learn or understand. Studying the complexities of the mind may make you a good psychologist, but doing so won't take you beyond the mind, just as the study of madness isn't enough to create sanity. You have already understood the basic mechanics of the unconscious state. Identification with the mind, which creates a false self, the ego, as a substitute for your true self rooted in being. You become as a branch cut off from the vine, as Jesus puts it. The ego's needs are endless. it feels vulnerable and threatened, and so lives in a state of fear and want. Once you know how the basic dysfunction operates, there is no need to explore all its countless manifestations, no need to make it into a complex personal problem. The ego, of course, loves that. It is always seeking for something to attach itself to in order to uphold and strengthen its illusory sense of self, and it will readily attach itself to your problems. This is why, for so many people, a large part of their sense of self is intimately connected with their problems. Once this has happened, the last thing they want is to become free of them. That would mean loss of self. There can be a great deal of unconscious ego investment in pain and suffering. So once you recognize the root of unconsciousness as identification with the mind, which of course includes the emotions, you step out of it. You become present. When you are present, you can allow the mind to be as it is without getting entangled in it. The mind in itself is not dysfunctional. It is a wonderful tool. Dysfunction sets in when you seek yourself in it and mistake it for who you are. It then becomes the egoic mind and takes over your whole life. And the delusion of time. It seems almost impossible to disidentify from the mind. We are all immersed in it. How do you teach a fish to fly? Here is the key. And the delusion of time. Time and mind are inseparable. Remove time from the mind and it stops, unless you choose to use it. To be identified with your mind is to be trapped in time. The compulsion to live almost exclusively through memory and anticipation. This creates an endless preoccupation with past and future and an unwillingness to honor and acknowledge the present moment and allow it to be. The compulsion arises because the past gives you an identity and the future holds the promise of salvation, of fulfillment in whatever form. Both are illusions. But without a sense of time, how would we function in this world? There would be no goals to strive towards anymore. I wouldn't even know who I am because my past makes me who I am today. I think time is something very precious and we need to learn to use it wisely rather than waste it. Time isn't precious at all because it is an illusion. What you perceive as precious is not time, but the one point that is out of time, the now. That is precious indeed. The more you are focused on time, past and future, the more you miss the now, the most precious thing there is. Why is it the most precious thing? Firstly, because it is the only thing. It's all there is. The eternal present is the space within which your whole life unfolds, the one factor that remains constant. Life is now. There was never a time when your life was not now, nor will there ever be. Secondly, the now is the only point that can take you beyond the limited confines of the mind. It is your only point of access into the timeless and formless realm of being.
Thank you. Let's take a pause of 30 seconds here. Pause of silence. Anybody else would like to read? Continue reading.
Yes, there.
Yes, Aisha, you want to read? Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing exists outside the now. Aren't past and future just as real, sometimes even more real than the present? After all, the past determines who we are, as well as how we perceive and behave in the present. And our future goals determine which actions we take in the present. You haven't yet grasped the essence of what I am saying because you are trying to understand it mentally. The mind cannot understand this. Only you can. Please just listen. Have you ever experienced, done, thought, or felt anything outside the now? Do you think you ever will? Is it possible for anything to happen or be outside the now? The answer is obvious, is it not? Nothing ever happened in the past. It happened in the now. Nothing will ever happen in the future. It will happen in the now. What you think of as the past is a memory trace stored in the mind of a former now. When you remember the past, you reactivate a memory trace, and you do so now. The future is an imagined now, a projection of the mind. When the future comes, it comes as the now. When you think about the future, you do it now. Past and future obviously have no reality of their own. Just as the moon has no light of its own, but can only reflect the light of the sun, so are past and future only pale reflections of the light, power, and reality of the eternal present. Their reality is borrowed from the now. The essence of what I am saying here cannot be understood by the mind. The moment you grasp it, there is a shift in consciousness from mind to being, from time to presence. Suddenly, everything feels alive, radiates energy, emanates being.
Continue.
The key to the spiritual dimension. In life-threatening emergency situations, the shift in consciousness from time to presence sometimes happens naturally. The personality that has a past and a future momentarily recedes and is replaced by an intense, conscious presence, very still, but very alert at the same time. Whatever response is needed then arises out of that state of consciousness. The reason why some people love to engage in dangerous activities, such as mountain climbing, car racing, and so on, although they may not be aware of it, is that it forces them into the now, that intensely alive state that is free of time, free of problems, free of thinking, free of the burden of the personality. Slipping away from the present moment, even for a second, may mean death. Unfortunately, they come to depend on a particular activity to be in that state. But you don't need to climb the north face of the Eiger. You can enter that state now.
Thank you. Yes, KR, you want to read?
Yes, Debashish.
Yeah, please read.
Since ancient times, spiritual masters of all traditions have pointed to the now as the key to the spiritual dimension. Despite this, it seems to have remained a secret. It is certainly not taught in churches or temples. If you go to a church, you may hear readings from the Gospels such as "Take no thoughts for the morrow, for the morrow shall take the thought for the things of itself," or "Nobody who puts his hands to the plow and look back is fit for the kingdom of God. Or you might hear the passage about the beautiful flowers that are not anxious about tomorrow, but live with the ease in the timeless now, and are provided for the abundantly by God. The depth and radical nature of these teachings are not recognized. No one seems to realize that they are meant to be lived, and so about a profound inner transformation of now. To be so utterly, so completely present that no
No,
problem.
you missed a line.
Oh, okay, sorry. The oh, the whole essence of Zen consists in walking along the razor's edge of now. To be so utterly, so completely present that no problem, no suffering, nothing that is not who you are in your essence can survive in you. In the now, in the absence of time, all your problems dissolve. Sufferings needs time, it cannot survive in the now. The great Zen master Rinzai, in order to take his students' attention away from time, would often raise his finger and slowly ask, what at this moment is lacking? The powerful question that does not require an answer on the level of the mind. It is designed to take your attention deeply into the now. A similar question in the Zen tradition is this: if not now, when? The now is also central to the teachings of Sufism, the mystical branch of Islam. The Sufis have a saying: the Sufi is the son of time present. And Rumi, the great poet and teacher of Sufism, declares, past and future will God from our side burn up both of them with fire. Meister Eckhart, the 13th century spiritual teacher, summed it all up beautifully. Time is what keeps the light from reaching us. There is no greater obstacle to God than time.
Thank you. Let's take a pause of silence here for 30 seconds. Okay, anyone has any questions? We can discuss now. If anyone wants to speak, don't hesitate to jump in. This is an interactive session. And also, when someone is speaking, don't interrupt. Let the person finish speaking, and then you can respond. So we understand, right, what the author is trying to say here. Very profound teaching. Very simple to grasp. Doesn't sound like a very sophisticated philosophical concept. Something that anybody would understand. Seems very obvious that everybody lives in the present moment, but that is not the case. If you look very closely your own life, you would realize that most of the time we are living in our mind, which means that we are not living in the present. People think that if they're living in their thoughts and emotions and their actions, then they're living in the now. But that is not the case. Because we think that uh, mind is who we are, and that is what keeps us in the now. But that is not the case. The mind, the flow of thoughts are keeping us away from the now. So it is a barrier of sorts. If it takes control, that is, which is true in most of the cases. The entire structure of our thoughts and patterns, the way we think, it is completely thought driven. It feels like as if we don't have any control. So the author is trying to tell us that it's a trap. We are not our thoughts. When he says mind, he means thoughts. And very simple message he's trying to give us. The moment you are in the present moment with all your attention and awareness, you don't have any problem in life. There is no problem in the now. All the problems are illusions in the mind. The mind is reading every life situation, whatever experience that we are having in our life. The mind is perceiving it as a problem. It is not a problem. That is what we are trying to understand. And because of this, our overthinking and continuous thinking of how things should be and what has gone wrong, there are a lot of narratives that we do in our head about people, about life situations. There are a lot of desires that we have that are not getting fulfilled. So we feel very bad about it. And we say that there is a problem. Actually, if you look closely, even if your desires are not getting met, so what? One has to ask this question. So in the now, which is the timeless dimension, we also saw that mind is equal to time. So when we are stuck in the mind, we are actually stuck in time. The time is a creation of mind. Actually, there is nothing known as time. In the now, there is no concept of time that exists in the now. So when we create thoughts in our head, we create past and future, and which you can say is the time. So because we create time in our head, we burden ourselves under that, under the heaviness of time, of past and future, and we perceive everything through that lens of time, and that's why we suffer. In the now, there is no time. There is nothing known as time. And what Eckhart is saying is that now is all there ever is. There is nothing called as past or future. It is just a projection in the mind. It's just a thought, in simple words. And thoughts are not real, actually, if you understand this. Thoughts are not real. Thoughts can only point to the real. They are a pointer to the real. They can only take us to the real. They are not the real. So that is something that we have to understand. And because we get trapped in the thoughts, we stop our access to the real dimension, which is the now, and which is also the dimension of our being, which is the consciousness. And that's why we don't feel alive. We don't feel lively or energized. We don't feel happy or joyful or peaceful. Everything seems a burden always. For momentarily, you will experience some pleasure, because you may get something in life, but it doesn't stay like that forever. Everything changes, everything ultimately turns into a boredom or dullness, and things are not enough. That is the problem in the material world. So if you want to end your suffering, if you're going through a burden or pain or boredom or guilt or fear, jealousy, or any negative emotion, come to the present moment, and then you will see that there is no problem. That is the end of all suffering. Yes, Aisha, you want to say something?
Yeah, I had a thought actually earlier today, because I've been thinking about Eckhart Tolle a lot and his teachings.
Yeah.
And I just wondered suddenly, is it a privilege to be able to, of course, it is a privilege to have access to this information and to have access to this circle, but to even have the mind space to think about the present moment and to, I mean, most of us, a lot of people struggle just to survive, right? They're constantly in that survival mode of, we need to think about the next thing. We need to think a plan for our future because we need to plan for our next meal, whatever it is. People have varying degrees of different situations in life, but
Yeah.
to be able to live in the moment and live in the now and let go of that constantly future planning mode. I need to figure this out. I need to figure that out. Is it really possible for everyone on a very practical level to be able to live like that?
Yes, that's a good question. Even the questioner was asking. We read also. Though Eckhart did not expound too much on it, he quickly told him to come in the now. And he told him that don't waste time in past and future and everything. Now is the only reality. That is the only real dimension. So he's trying to tell the questioner that see that what is real and what is false. First, that is the primary observation that we have to do. It's a spiritual meditation technique. So whatever questions that you are asking have answers, but that is not the fundamental question right now. Right now, what we have to understand is that we live most of our time, most of our time and life, most of the time we spend in thinking a lot, and we spend time in our mind. We may think that we are living, but we are not actually living. Actually, truly, we are always thinking and feeling and trapped in our emotions and our thoughts all the time. It is some may even say that, why should I stop thinking? It's a compulsory thing to do. It's a compulsion, right? It's become a compulsion, like a very like an addiction it has become. So that is what Eckhart is, and I believe all the questioners that are asking questions are on that level right now, who are completely identified with the mind. So what Eckhart is fundamentally doing as a first step is trying to tell them that there is there is a state which is more than just thinking. There is a state which is beyond thoughts, and you can be in that state, and in that state you experience peace. So to answer your question, what I feel is that we are not trying to stop the thoughts. We are trying to observe and realize a state which is beyond thoughts and which is our true identity. We have lost our identity in thoughts. We think that we are the thoughts. As Eckhart said, thoughts are a very wonderful tool, but let the now take care of it. Let not your mind think too much about it. When that moment will come, when you really have to do something, you will do something. Your intuition and your consciousness will do something. But we plan too much about tomorrow and future and everything. But that is very uncertain. We really don't have a complete picture of what the future will be. How things will be. Whatever you are thinking right now may not be valid 10 days after. All the plans will change. You will see that everything has changed. All the factors have changed. Conditions have changed. And then your actions will be based on whatever you are faced with at that moment. And that's what Eckhart is saying. In every moment, the consciousness understands what the conditions are and what the situation is, and it takes the right action. So you don't have to think too much about the future. When tomorrow will come, I will know what I have to do. Apart from the basic things that I have to eat and sleep and whatever, that nobody has to think about, right? But we don't think about those things. We think about a lot of other things, about what I have to do, how will I secure my future, and how much money should I earn, how will I survive, what kind of life I want. If you observe this closely, a lot of it has to do with desires, egoic desires. We are trying to find fulfillment and happiness through these desires, through these material desires. Leaving aside the survival part that you are mentioning, I'm not talking about that. That anyways doesn't require too much of thinking, really. You need food, you need a house, you need clothes. How much thinking you have to do? Just work something, earn some money, and get it sorted out. Just that is it. There is nothing more to it. But our thought doesn't rest at that. We are thinking more than that. There is a whole psychological world of desires, and we are not happy in ourselves. And now we have this idea that we will get some happiness in some material achievement in future. We should have these things, these things, this house, this relationship. We read also, we try to seek fulfillment in our relationships, in our material ownership of things, place where we live, which country we are from, nationality, culture, whatever. So we are, as if we are trying to find ourselves in all these things. That leads to a different kind of thinking that we get trapped in. So Eckhart is saying that even if you don't get any of these things, you're okay. There is no problem. Because your being is still here, right? Even if you don't have a relationship, for example, but you are still here. You are not reduced in any way. You did not gain anything. Ajay, I will come to you. Just hold on a second. Let me complete. You have not gained anything that will complete you. Nothing has been taken away from your being. In the being, in the consciousness, nothing is getting reduced or getting added. That is what Eckhart is trying to say. It is whole. We have this misconception and illusion of addition and negation in our mind. That is the egoic mind. Because it wants things, in life. So if it doesn't get something, it feels unhappy. But in reality, nothing is happening. In reality, you are okay. That is what we're trying to understand. Yes, Ajay?
Yeah, very well said. Thank you for sharing, Debashish.
Yeah.
I have two questions. So when you said that there is a reality beyond the thought and there is a next state which we need to cross over to experience the nowness. If you can give some wordings to that or some kind of sense, because like Eckhart is trying to say that in moments of danger, we are automatically geared to be in the now.
Yeah.
Where every other thought stops and then you are just doing the right actions or whatever in that moment it comes up. So how would you describe that state of nowness? And the second question was that even when we think of the future, can we think of the future as being in the present moment of now and think in a conscious way that we are thinking about the future? Is that the right way, or that is not the right way to express?
Yeah, how else can we think otherwise? That's what Eckhart is saying, right? Everything that is happening in your life is happening in the now. Even when you're thinking, it is happening in the now. We are creating past in the now. Now is providing fuel to all the thoughts.
Correct.
We are able to think because we are alive, right? If you are not alive, you will not be able to think. So just because we are conscious beings, consciousness is there before, then the thought comes. So the matter of fact that you are able to think, rest depends on that you are there, your being is there, right? So being is primary. That is what Eckhart is saying. And that is inseparable from the now. The now means the being. It is synonymous. Being and now are synonymous. That is what we are trying to understand. And just because I am here, I'm able to think also. So whatever thoughts I'm having about past and future is happening in the now, in my being, And but the dysfunction is that I get lost in my thoughts. That is where I lose my connection with my being. That is the dysfunction. That is where the suffering comes from. As long as you're aware of the being and thinking, then you are control of your thoughts. Then the thoughts are not controlling you. As long as you're aware and connected to your being, and then you are using the thoughts to do something, that is fine. That means you are here and your thoughts are here. Now your being is here, the consciousness. And now you are consciously thinking something to do something, which you have to do now. Everything that you have to do you have to do it in the present moment. That is also one has to observe. You cannot do it in the future, in the mind. No, I can do whatever I have to do in the now. And then I need thoughts for that, sure. So then you consciously think. And then you do something. But what happens is we lose this connection with the being and we get trapped in the thoughts, The thoughts have taken us somewhere in down some memory lane, or it has projected some future. It's just thoughts, and we get trapped there. We start to live there, You can say we start to live in it's like a dream-like state, as if you're dreaming. The dream looks very real, right? When you're sleeping. And just like that, the thoughts in the waking state also, when you're lost in thoughts, it looks real. So if you tell someone, why are you thinking so much? Why can you stop thinking? He will get very angry. If he's completely identified with the mind, he will say that, no, thoughts are real. Why should I not think? So because there's so much to think about. There is a past which has a story of you, which a questioner asked, right? In one of the questions, someone asked that we derive our identity from our past. Whatever we are right now is because of our past. So that's why we think about our past so much, because there are so many good things that have happened to us in the past. Maybe you got a lot of achievements, lot of certification from people, good things that you may hear from people. So one thinks about that. So when you think about the past, you are actually trying to about whatever that has happened in the past. You try to live there. So that is what Eckhart is saying, not to do that. That's an illusion. That's an illusion, because it will eventually lead to suffering, because that is not real. It will shake. It is very unstable thing. We are thinking something else. In reality, something else is happening in the now. So that there is a split that happens in the mind, right? And that causes suffering. Yes.
So I have a follow-up question. So if I want to distinguish that, if I'm thinking about the future and that thought is like coming either from my being or coming from my ego or some illusion. So suppose tomorrow I have to schedule a meeting with my team member. So I'm thinking about it that 10 o'clock I want to schedule a meeting with him. And then am I moving myself into the future and not thinking about now, or I am thinking about it in the now? So I'm just trying to distinguish where am I getting lost in my thinking about the future and when I am in the now. If you can just help me clarify.
When you were talking right now, were you lost in the thinking, or were you aware of your thinking?
I was aware of my thinking.
Yeah. So that means you are in the now. If you are aware of your thoughts, then you are in the now. Then you are consciousness. When you are aware of what you are thinking and what you are doing, that means you are conscious of what you are thinking and what you are doing. That means you are in the consciousness right now. That means you are in the now. Because now and consciousness are same. Consciousness is right here. Consciousness is not going anywhere. Only the mind, the thought goes here and there. So if I am aware of my thoughts, then I'm in the now. Then thoughts cannot trouble me. Then I know when to stop thinking and when not to stop. I have to think for tomorrow's meeting. Sure, think about it. But once you have got a solution, then you know when to stop. Then you don't go on thinking, right? Once you know that you have to meeting to schedule tomorrow and you have to meet such a person, for example, and you have worked out all the details and the logistics of it, then do you again think about it? So what is the problem there? Now the thought is serving you. Thought is serving the consciousness. That is the right way to live. But we don't experience that, right? Most of the times. In this equation, there is no suffering. But when the thought comes over consciousness and it starts to guide the consciousness and tells us what to do and what not to do, then there is a problem. And when I say thought, the emotions are also involved in that. Emotions and thoughts, both. The body is also an ally with the thoughts. You feel something, a strong urge, a desire for something or someone, and it triggers the thoughts. Even if you don't want to do it, you know that you don't want to do it, but you still do it, because this tendency of the body and its desire from the body is so high and so intense, you are not able to resist the thoughts also. You want to think about it. You can say that you are being controlled by your thoughts and emotions. You can say you have lost the now, the present moment again. So we have to be, when that happens, you know that you have lost the now. But the moment you are aware of it, that it is happening, you are again back into your consciousness. The moment you are aware, awareness is the word. The moment you are aware that what is happening in my body right now, which is taking me away from me, unconsciously, you don't want it, involuntary, it's happening. You are here, but some desire has come up in your body and in your mind, and it is taking you away from you. Then you know that you are losing yourself. At that time, you have to quickly come back to the present moment. Yeah.
So one just last follow-up question. Like this thought of having the meeting, like right now I'm in the present and asking, but it has come, this thought might have come 5 times in the day. And I was thinking, what is the reason why that thought has come 5 times in the day to schedule a meeting tomorrow?
So that, see, one is a practical scenario. Okay, you want to meet a person, and that's why you are thinking the logistics of it. That what you have to plan. You know, you have to call that person. You have to call 2 more people. You have to maybe meet the person in some location, in some office or some other place. This is all the logistics of it. You know, if there is some incompletion there, then you may think again. That is fine. There is some component which is still not answered there. The place, the time, for example, you know, or whatever things that the person has to bring and you have to bring. As long as all these things are not complete, the thinking is okay. If you're thinking to complete and to plan things. But even after you have done all the planning and you know that everything has been done, you're still thinking about the meeting. Then you have to ask yourself why I'm still thinking about it. What is that you want right now? What is the ego wants? This is not the thought. This is not consciousness anymore. This is ego now. Now the ego is coming up. The ego is not trying to do something here. It is trying to, seek some kind of fulfillment through these thoughts. How will I talk to him so that he gets impressed? If you're meeting a girl, for example, how should I dress? How should I talk so that she gets impressed? Why do you want to impress someone? Think about it. What do you want from that person? Okay, I want this and this. Why do you want this and this? You have to really do this inquiry. Then you will find out it is only because you want some kind of gratification and fulfillment from some person or something, that is the egoic mind. That is what we have to understand. No material thing or person can give any gratification or fulfillment. As long as you're done with your practical matters of life, that is fine. But beyond that, don't lose yourself in thoughts. Be in the present moment always. Yes, Aisha. Yes.
What if you have to make a decision about something and it's kind of a critical decision and you have to think through everything, all the possible scenarios, also think about past experiences that could impact your decision. Like, or how do you make a decision in the now? If you're thinking about all these things, then are you not in the now? Or how can you make a decision and also stay in the now? Like a intelligent decision.
So I think that is connected with what Ajay is also asking. See, there is a mind and there is a consciousness, okay? And what we are trying to understand is not stopping the thoughts. Okay, we have a brain, we have to understand things, how things work in this world, So we are not stopping that. We are not letting it control us. That is what we are trying to understand. There is a difference, huge difference. We are trying to understand what is creating suffering in us. We can still steer our way in this life without suffering, and we're trying to find out how. Right? So as long as, I will again repeat, as long as you are aware of your thought structures, of what you are doing, what you're thinking, and why you're doing, you are in your consciousness. But the moment your desires take over your consciousness, you're trapped. You're lost yourself. That is what we're trying to understand. As long as the consciousness is in control, you will be able to do everything. You will be able to understand all the things. You will actually understand better and more, with more intensity, with more energy. So, you will have more intelligence flowing through you. Your brain function will increase, actually. Your body will have more energy, more power. Your physicality, it will show in your physicality also. All of that will improve. So what you are asking will happen once we are living in consciousness in the now. Spontaneity will come. You will understand very fast what is happening and how you have, what you have to do. Your brain function improves. So your planning will improve, your productivity will improve, because most of the questions are related to that. Everything you will understand, and that spontaneity will come. You will not think 2 times or 3 times about the same thing. Only one time is enough. Right? So there is this pattern of thinking which is related to our practical matters. We have to do something, we have to go somewhere, we have to meet someone, we have to eat food, we have to go to our house or to some other place. These are all practical matters. There is another level of thinking which is egoic thinking, where we are trapped and are lost because we are seeking some kind of fulfillment in our thoughts, in our story that we play in our head. That is the egoic mind. That is what we are trying to identify and trying to get rid of, because that causes suffering. As long as you are thinking and living your life, doing things properly, there is no problem. We are trying to understand why the suffering, why we feel the pain, why we are so unhappy about things. So that is what we are trying. And the more you live in the now, in the consciousness, even if things go bad and wrong and not happen according to your plan, you still don't get worried or angry or depressed. That is a consequence of living in the consciousness. Most of the time we are worried about that. If things don't go according to my way, that is our fundamental problem. I want something, and what if the things don't happen according to that? But there is no answer to it. I cannot tell you that you will feel okay unless you live in the now. I can only tell you, and that's what Eckhart is trying to say. If you live in the now, in the consciousness, there is no problem. But I cannot tell you like that. You cannot understand from your mind. That is what we are trying to understand. We cannot understand through thought. We would like to understand, but we cannot. We have to go beyond thought. We have to start living in the present moment. Then you will see that you will not have any problem. You cannot understand it conceptually. That is where most of us actually go wrong in understanding, because we try to understand everything through the egoic mind, because the ego loves to do that. It loves to do things right, For the ego, nothing can go wrong. Nothing should go wrong. That is the most fundamental flaw. Very, very flawed concept of living, because everything is going wrong around the world. Nothing is happening according to our plans, There are so many factors and conditions. So why we are having so rigid and fixed desires about things and people and everything? It is very unstable. That is what we have to understand. Yeah. Somebody wants to say anything? I hope I'm able to say something here. If anybody wants to say anything, please.
Can you just repeat what you tried to say about thinking once versus thinking multiple times? If you can just again summarize a little bit in short.
Yeah, see, it's very simple. Yeah, if you want to talk to a person, right? You're missing someone, right? You're thinking about some person. Just pick the phone call and just dial the buttons here and call that person. That is one way to do it. And you are getting very, very intense thought, that you want to talk to someone. Okay, you have already got this thought that you want to talk to someone. Why you're thinking again? Now you have to think why I want to talk. That could be the second thought. Yeah, Varsha, we will come to that. Die before you die. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. So the thought is coming, I want to talk to a person. That is absolutely clear. I'm getting this thought. Okay, now once I know and clear that I want to talk to this person, now I don't have to think again. Either you talk to that person, pick up the phone, dial the number and talk to that person. Simple. And talk whatever you want to talk. What is the problem? But if you're not able to do that, then the second question can come. Why I want to talk to that person? Why? What am I looking for? That is a very valid question. Now, again, you don't have to think again on that. You have already thought. A thought has already come consciously. You're consciously thinking. All this while, just remember, you're consciously thinking. Let not the thoughts run your life. Be conscious of your thoughts. One thought has come. Why? Okay. Why I'm thinking, what I want. Okay, I want this from this person. Why I want this? What am I looking for? I think it's a very valid question to ask. Now, for example, two answers. One answer could be, oh, he has to give me money. I have to ask for money from that person. Then by all means, please call that person immediately. If there is a big sum of money that you are expecting from that person. Another answer that could come, no, I'm just generally missing that person. I like that person. Then again, still either send a message or call that person. What is the problem? Now the person doesn't respond to you, doesn't respond to your text. Then the problem comes. See, now we are going ahead, in a thought structure, how we create suffering for us. The person doesn't respond to you, doesn't pick your call, or doesn't respond to your text. It's been a day or 2 days. Now the problem comes. Now you think, why that person is not responding to me? What have I done to upset that person? What does that person think of herself or himself? This is the egoic mind now. You have to see these thought structures. Why should anybody talk to you? Ask yourself this. Who are you? Who are you and what are you? This is the ego. Ego wants to claim the throne, wants to sit on the throne and he wants to claim that he is the almighty, all powerful. Everybody should talk to me. I am the greatest. This is the ego's behavior. You have to identify this is the mind's ego's behavior. But why should anybody talk to you? Maybe that person has 10 different things to worry about, yeah? This is the consciousness thinking now. Because the consciousness is broad, it is intelligent. It knows how things are. Maybe that person is busy with something else, or maybe genuinely that person doesn't like you. Whatever may be the case, you are free from thought. Once you know that the ego is not important at all, and this thought structure is not important at all, you're free from it. Whatever happens outside doesn't affect you anymore. This is what we're trying to understand. I hope I'm able to give a situation and explain. Okay.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Debashish.
Varsha,
I'm
yeah.
leaving for now. Yeah.
Okay, Ajay, thanks for joining. Yeah, die before you die. Let me share my screen again. Thanks for reminding me. Okay. Yeah, so guys, pay attention. This is a very important line. If you understand this, then things will be very clear. And it can be misunderstood also. Death is a stripping away of all that is not you. The secret of life is to die before you die and find that there is no death. What does it mean? Anybody would like to give a chance? Would try to attempt?
What I understood by this sentence is like, we have to like let go of our like programming and beliefs. So that is also a kind of death for our ego. Like
Yeah.
whatever we have learned since our childhood. So we need to like let go those things so that we like operate from our soul. So every moment is kind of like the death.
Yes. Yes. Correctly understood. Yeah, the secret of life is to die before you die. So die before you die means the first die is the death of the ego. So we have to come out of the ego, dissolve our ego. That is the death of the ego. So first die is the death of the ego. Before you die, that the second die is the physical death. So as before the physical death comes, we have to come out of the ego. Don't wait for physical death to come, because otherwise you will spend all your lives in suffering, right? And we don't want that. So die before you die. This is a very profound instruction from our spiritual masters. They are saying that before the physical death comes, please come out of the ego if you want to really taste happiness and joy. So we have to come out of the ego before we die, before this body dies, and find that there is no death. Now, what does that mean?
Can I give it a try?
Yeah, please.
So, to find that there's no death means that there is no I, and there's no self in the first place. So you're connected to consciousness.
Yeah.
So in that sense, there was no death, even of the ego, I mean, of the physical body, the second death. There was no actual death because you are life, and
But
you are
the,
consciousness.
but the physical body,
right?
But the physical body will die, right?
But
So
the
what-
physical body, there's this sense of I and the sense of self is a construct,
Yeah.
and there's no separation or duality.
Yes.
But I mean, this is just the primary understanding. I'd love to hear more about what you have to say to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also have the same understanding. Just like to add few more lines and find that there is no death. Death is a concept of the human being, of the ego, because we think that we are this body and the mind. So when we see that people are losing the body, when the bodies are dying all around, when people die, basically, we think that there is something known as death, because we are so much identified with this body and this mind that when someone becomes unconscious in the form of death, we get really fearful, that he doesn't have a body anymore. But in actuality, when we get this is the egoic perception. But in actuality, when we come out of the ego, we lose this concept of body and mind and this identification. So in that state, there is no life or no death. Everything is changing. A form is changing from one state to another. Let me put it this way. Because we have disidentified from the body, even when the body is dying or changing, we don't feel that change because we have disidentified from it, because we are consciousness, which doesn't change. Consciousness remains the way it is. It's the spaciousness, stillness, right? Because there is no movement or ripple there. Even when the body is changing, there is some change happening in the body. We don't feel that change because we are so much far from the body. We don't feel that change at all. So for us, there is no change happening. Since because there is no change happening, there is no death happening. I hope I'm able to picturize this. Which can only happen, let me complete this, which can only happen if you are in the present moment always, in the now. So just give me few more seconds. Even if at the moment of death, at the moment of physical death, when your body is dying, even at that time, if you are continuously or consistently in the now, you will never get this thought of death. Just imagine that you are dying. Your body will die in next 10 seconds. Just imagine. But in the now, you have not died yet. In the now, if you're in the now completely, your mind is not thinking about the future. If you're completely in the now, you're still alive, right? The consciousness is still there. But the doctor has told you that in next 20 seconds, you're going to die. But you don't think about it. For example, that is what we are talking about, right? If we put all our attention in the now, there is no death. I'm still here. But now you will say, after 20 seconds, you will die. Sure, after 20 seconds, I will die. But now I'm alive, right? Okay, 10 seconds have passed. But if you are in the now, you will not realize that 10 seconds have passed. In the now, there is no time. If you are completely in the now, the time concept has gone. 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Just because there was a concept of time, there was a concept of death. In the now, there is no death. And you are at the 20th second and suddenly you die. But there is no one to experience the death now. So if you are in the, I hope I'm able to visualize this properly. If you are completely in the now, you can never experience death. Even physically, you will never experience death. Forget about the psychological. Psychologically, you are already free. But even in the physical world, you will never experience death if you are completely in the now. So that is what I'm trying to understand and trying to share. Okay, guys, thanks for joining in. I hope we are able to understand the teaching and the concepts are getting clear to us. If you are still not understanding anything, you have some doubts, then please feel free to send me the message. You have my number. You can text me anytime. You can post in the group also. That is fine. And I will strongly recommend that you buy the book. Okay, and it's available in Kindle, and or you can buy the hard copy. So read this book from the start. You have missed few chapters. Start from chapter 1. You are not your mind. Very beautifully written, very profound and powerful book. No matter whatever state of situation, life situation you are in, I'm telling you, you will be out of it. As I speak to you now, I was not in a very good mood in the morning, but now I'm in a very great mood. So this book is very, very impactful and very enlightening. So I would strongly suggest all of you to don't wait for the reading circle to come every week. Start reading this book. Be connected in the group also. I keep posting things there. Keep discussing. That is very important. Keep sharing, keep discussing, keep it alive, Don't let it go in the back seat. Keep the discussions alive and the teaching alive. That is the only way we will be able to pull ourselves out of suffering. We have to do it collectively. Thank you everyone for joining. Hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.